Stop sending stupid messages and posting bad photos. I know many of us on Catholic Match have said that before, but we have to keep revisiting it because we keep seeing it. So let's first talk about the stupid messages. Number one, this is my biggest pet peeve. Messages that are way too impersonal. Like, hey, beautiful, how you doing? Let's talk about metacommunication. Metacommunication is all the things that message just said that were not spoken. Like, I don't know what else to say, and I want you to think that I'm really cool, and I noticed you're really hot looking, so let's talk, babe. I mean, ew, 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 ew. Stop saying, hi, beautiful. Women, we want to be noticed for our beauty, but we don't want you to lead with that, at least that impersonal way. The other thing is like, how are you? Well, what does that even mean? And then this is the worst. Hi. Come on, get personal. Here's the antidote to that. Let the person know, I see you, I hear you, and I understand something about you. I've talked about this before. This is one of the deepest needs of all of us. So instead go, hi, I noticed that you like the Rocky Mountains hiking trips. I do too. Make it something personal. And you can lead with, hi, beautiful. You look just like my mother. Don't do that. But lead with something personal. Pick out something of their profile that you thought was interesting or that you also share with them and lead that. That will open up the door for conversation. It makes it a lot more personal. The second bad message is you are sharing way too much, way too soon. And it might start with, hi, and you don't say anything. And then when the person responds, you go, well, I just wanted to tell you, blah, 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 blah. It's an assault on the person to do a dump like that. And it comes from our being insecure, and it comes from us wanting to say to them, in all those words, do you see me? Do you hear me? Do I matter to you? But people can't handle all that stuff. So again, I always say this very often, get a coach or a therapist or a spiritual director or just a good common sense friend to help you look at your posts. Is it too much too soon? And why are you doing that? What are you afraid of if you just go a little bit slower and come in sideways? That's the way to really get somebody's interest without scaring them off. Slow down. Ask questions about them. The third one that's really common, and I hate to say this, is way too negative. You start talking about right away about your ex-wife or your ex-husband or the government or the church or the world or how bad things are. And you know what? There are bad things. The world is going to hell in a handbasket, as my dad used to say. And there's a lot of things to complain about. But when you're getting to know somebody, that's not the place to dump all your anxiety and your negative criticism. People don't want to be around negativity. So don't dump it on them. Take a look at what you've been posting and get a trusted friend or somebody to tell you the truth about if you're being too negative. We don't want to hear about your dead spouse right away. We don't want to hear about your divorce and your annulment right away. Those are painful and negative things that you do want to share in an appropriate time, appropriate place and way, but not right at first. And this is another one that I see that just is very frustrating for a lot of people. That's a message that's too religious. Now, let's go there. As Catholics, it's especially those of us who are older and really learn the importance of a shared faith, we want you to know that we are sold out to our Catholic faith and we love our faith and we want you to be faithful too. But you can't overload that in the beginning. I read some people's profiles that said, I'm devoted to, St. Louis de Montfort, and I say the Divine Mercy Chaplet every day, and I pray the rosary when I walk my dog, and I go to daily mass, and those are wonderful things, but again, that's an assault and a dump. It's saying, here, this is how religious I am. You need to know this right away. And are you the same way? Are you going to fight me on this? Again, that's kind of the unspoken message. So pull back a little bit on the religion and the religious practice and devotion. Of course, our faith is important, but you are not just a spiritual person. You're a mind and a heart and a body and a soul. And lead with something that's more well-rounded about who you are. And try to, again, working with a coach or a therapist or a trusted friend, what is the fear that has having you throw all this religious stuff out up front and heavy loaded? Usually it's a fear of, not being with somebody who takes their faith seriously. And I'm right there with you on that. Okay, so those are some common bad messages that are still out there. Okay, let's talk about bad photos. Here's one I see a lot, especially in our older crowd. A lot of you have children from a prior marriage. If you're widowed or divorced, please don't post all your pictures with you and your child or your children. Here I am with my kids. Here are my kids at the soccer game. Here we are at the beach with my kids. We know you love your kids. We probably want to get to love your kids too, but first we want to see you and hear about you and know about you apart from your children. Because again, it's pushing something ahead. And I think the unspoken message is it okay that I have kids? Do you see that I have kids? My kids are important to me. That's kind of what you're trying to say with your photos. And I get that, but try to bring some balance into it. Now, this doesn't happen as much, but another one is maybe a picture, a really good picture. You looked really good, but it's with your former spouse. And, you didn't crop it or anything like that. Nobody wants, I'm sorry, down the road, yes, but nobody at first wants to see you with your former spouse. So don't do that, no matter how good you look. Get some young person who knows how to use, computer tips to trim it and edit it and find another way to post that photo. Also, don't just limit it to headshots. A lot of us who don't have the perfect body or carrying a little bit of extra weight, we might have a pretty decent face. We want to do the headshots only or the photos only. Don't crop out your body. Let the person who is looking at you see all of you in a photo. And if you don't have any good photos, this is what I always do. Standing sideways always takes off many, many pounds. So have a friend, our iPhones today, our smartphones take fabulous quality pictures. Go take some pictures right now. Get a friend to take some pictures of you where you're sitting down or standing sideways. If you're a little overweight, they'll see it, but you won't look really horrible in that picture. So, take advantage of the opportunity that you have. The last thing about photos is stop posting old photos. Now, some of us are aging very well. We have got good genes, and we can post a 10-year-old photo that kind of still looks like us, but other people, you can't get away with that. So please update your photos. Here's what I would suggest. Take a photo of you in a casual situation. Take a photo of you wearing something very nice and dressed up so that people see that you're not just a t-shirt and jeans kind of a person all the time, which I usually am. Show them how you can look good too. Also, what is it that you love to do? What's an activity or a place that you love? Then go take some photos doing that or in that location. Again, that photo will show you in your environment, and it'll communicate something about who you are in addition to just how you look. So this is a lot, I know, and it can be overwhelming. Go back and listen to this again. Write a few of these down. And if you only take one or two out of what I laid on you today, that's fine. Just work a little bit at a time. But please stop sending messages that are absolutely turning people off. You may not even know it. Get a good friend to come look at your profile with you. and update that thing. You know, we update our computers, we update our wardrobe, we update our passwords. It's time to update your messages and your photos. See you next time.